for round 3 of the top tier of Contest of Speed's America's Championship. I am Kitten Petter coming to you live, as always, from my mom's basement. I am joined once again by Eat the Cookie. Eat the Cookie, what's going on, man?
Not much, just getting ready to commentate over what I'd expect to be a great race tonight from the America's tier boys, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, we have certainly had a couple of crackers in the first 2 races here. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of close racing. Some things definitely going not quite to plan, as we kind of expected. A dominant performance from Alp, who unfortunately hasn't quite been able to keep it up at the pace that he had last year. He's 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, Alp seem to struggle with the new competition that has been introduced into this new season. A lot of drivers in and around that sort of pace now for Alp to contend with, so he's definitely got to up his game and show what he's made of, really.
Yeah. Welcome to the 6 viewers tuning in pretty early here, as we are just now getting qualifying underway. 16 minutes to go in this 18-minute session, and I'm going to look for who is on the first lap. I'm getting everything set up. I want to just fill some time. Maybe give me some fun facts about Austria. Something about sausages.
Well, Fenrique is the first of the drivers to start a fast lap, and just to answer a question in chat there, the favourites for this race tonight, well, Bean Sandwich has got to be up there. He's scored 2 podiums in 2 races this season so far. Alp as well, of course, is the reigning championship winner, and Flip Flop Fish got some great pace as well as this man Fenrique, so I think a lot of drivers will be looking for a potential win tonight, especially with how good of an opportunity that Austria brings for overtaking around the track. So we're looking forward to tonight, as Fenrique posts a 104.3. Very good bunker lap there from himself, so yeah, looking forward to tonight, that is for sure.
Right along with Flip Flop Fish, I think he must have encountered some difficulties there. He's basically just doing an install lap. He might be going again. Yeah, I think he's going again. I saw him harvesting ERS through Sector 2. But I think he is ready to go right now. Nicholas up into P1, 104.342. Not too shabby for Nicholas, who has had a mixed bag so far of results as Flip Flop Fish spins.
Yeah, a lot of times flying in now. Nicholas Horse challenging Fenrique for the pole position. Element 10 in 3rd place with a 104.8. Juventus with a good time for himself there with a 104.8. I'm sure he'll be happy with that as a banker lap. The only tyre different to the soft runners, well, as I say that, is Swarner on the medium tyre with a 104.8. Bean Sandwich has set what I can only describe as possibly an installation lap or a second out lap, because it is a slow 107.4.
Must have been not the best lap there for Bean Sandwich, who finds himself in the lead in the championship with 2 podiums. The only one to have multiple podiums so far through the first 2 races. Kind of come out of nowhere, and quite frankly has a great name. So, you know, more of Bean Sandwich, the Mexican magician out here, just doing work. Riding along with Alp. Looks like I think he's going to go back in the pits. He blew his laps.
I've just got some information about the weather. Qualifying, I think, is dry the whole way through, probably overcast as it is now. Threatening rain, but I don't think it will rain during qualifying.
Yeah.
However, during the race, it starts off sunny, then goes into overcast conditions quite quickly, and then heavy rain for the last part of the race, so that should spice things up a bit, and keep things interesting.
Yeah, and you definitely see a 2-stop versus 1-stop kind of strategy here, and with the more overcast conditions, and if it goes to rain, that definitely would throw a wrench in things if you're talking about tire wear on a cooler track. You probably could be able to get a one-stop in, but then again, if there's a possibility of rain towards the end, who knows what's going to happen with these guys? Seems like a real catch-22.
It will definitely throw a spanner in the works as drivers now have to contemplate whether they can get to the rain on the medium tyre or two-stop on the softs if it's that late in the race. It all depends really where the rain comes in. Also whether drivers go on the intermediates whilst it gets into those conditions, because it is heavy rain and you'd presume that full wets will be needed at the end of the race, but it's just whether that it's worth to pit from, if it's how late it is. So it'll be interesting to see what strategies the drivers go for. Being sandwiched so far, the only driver on the medium tyre in the top 10, and he is 10th for the 105.4.
I think Fenrique might be the first one on his second flying lap right now. See where he's at on the track. I'd be able to get a split into the third sector. And he is up on his time. Yeah.
He is up. So he's looking to fight for that pole position as Fenrique.
Yep, nearly 2/10. Ooh, boy, he sticks in it. That is an aggressive line through the final double red Andrew.
Oof. 104.2 for Fenrique, so very good lap there. Yeah, this track you have to be aggressive with it if you want to get those lap times in, which means that penalties tonight will be detrimental to a driver's race result. So should be interesting to see who can avoid the penalties for the game.
Yeah, the Red Bull Ring is just so inviting. Every single corner so flowing. Really just challenges the driver to make the most out of this that you possibly can, and that results in a whole lot of finicky time penalties that are given out on the regular. I'm going to follow along with DK Amp here in 11th right now. He's on the softs. I'm a little interested to see what kind of time he can put up. Part of Team Ding It.
Yeah, Team Ding It.
Definitely doesn't want to fall too far behind his teammate, who really only has 5 points, but that is 5 more, unfortunately, than DK so far. So maybe a better showing from him as he comes around final sector. He's going to get in the 104s, so not too bad. Up into P10 for him.
Yeah, DK beating his teammate, Wingit. They do know each other in real life. They are good friends, of course, and possibly the most popular team in the Americas Tier 1. So we'll see how they can do as Wingit now beats his teammate, posting a 104.8. Very close in the from 8th down to about 11th, very close times, they're all within a 10th. Very close to the top as well.
Yeah, we've got the top 3 here, up in the top 3 after that last run, all within 1/10 of a second. So with these last 2, I'm going to guess they will each be able to get 2 more flying laps. They'll both be able to hopefully will leapfrog each other. So I'm going to go to Bursey J. Don't think we've given Bursey J a whole lot of attention so far. So let's see if he can do anything here with the camera on him. The commentator's curse. He is another one of them that has no points. Unfortunately, so far there's 6 drivers. 6 drivers without points.
Yeah, and I think one to watch for tonight is definitely Fenrique. Of course, having 2 DNFs in the first 2 races of the season, unfortunately for him. So it'll be interesting to see if he can mount a comeback and try and get within the top drivers of the tier, because we know he has the pace. It's just whether he can keep it on the track and do well strategy-wise, because unfortunately Fenrique's decisions in races, strategy-wise, are sometimes the detriment to his race. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. But he is starting a flying lap, and he's invalidated in turn 1, so he's just going to coast round.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see where Bean Sandwich ends up here. He is right behind Burzy J, so we'll catch both of them. Oh no, actually Burzy J's already set that time. Sorry, I was following the wrong guy, I guess. Still getting used to everyone's names. It's a process. But Bean Sandwich, we're up a few spots, but still in 13th. Don't think he's going to be too thrilled with that. I think Fenrique is out.
I'm just wondering whether Bean Sandwich is trying to get into the 11th place position because of the rain at the end of the race. I think that position will potentially be better than pole on the soft tyre, so it'll be interesting to see if drivers can navigate the way into that, as Mitch has snuck his way up into 3rd place with a 104.3.
Yeah, that was a great lap for Mitch.
Beaten out by 3 thousandths of a second, so it's very tight at the top there, all within a 1/10 of a second in the top 4.
Swanner is on a hot lap. Looks like he is in P11 right now. He's only been able to shave a little under a 10th as he enters the 3rd sector just about. I believe R-Bar was also on one. But I think he might have just already finished.
No, I think he's on an outlap, I think.
Oh, I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, he's bumping his EI. So R-Bar, of course, winner of last race at Baku, so he'll be wanting another good points position tonight to maybe challenge for first place in the overall drivers championship. 2 drivers so far not setting a lap time. One is Perry the Dog, and he is unfortunately unable to set a lap time at the moment, probably invalidating times. As we said, Austria very, very popular with the penalties. And You See Me Flying not setting a lap time, and that is because of an incident last week which has resulted in a qualifying ban for tonight. So he will start back of the grid.
Yeah, I hate to see it, but Nicholas is crossing the line right now, and it looks like he is going to reclaim pole position, flirting with the 103s, with the 104.119, over a 10th, or nearly 2 tenths ahead of Fenrique there, who is on his final outlap of the day. I'm not sure if Nicholas is going to be able to get back in time, change stuff around, and be able to get back out, but we'll monitor that situation, as it looks like R-Bar into P3, feeling good. I think he's got some confidence going, Cookie.
Oh, definitely, especially after a race when it sort of just boosts your morale, and you just feel unstoppable, especially after such a great performance that he displayed on last week against Useless as a Cat, who unfortunately isn't here tonight, and Bean Sandwich, who came in 2nd place. Bean Sandwich is the current Drivers' Championship leader at the moment by 1 point ahead of Alp, so that fastest lap last week paying dividends to him. So it'll be an interesting battle. Unfortunately, Bean Sandwich is down in 15th place, as well as Lopez, which is another surprise, not seeming to be able to string a lap together without invalidating. As we also have the former championship winner, Alp, starting his lap, and I'd expect, at the start of this qualifying, I would have expected drivers to be in the 103s, but maybe with a wet setup, some drivers might not be able to get into the 103 range. It will be interesting to see who goes for the dry setup and who sticks on a full wet setup for the end of the race.
Lopez is going out once more. He's on another hot lap, but he's on mediums. So he's going to try to see how much he can gain with that reverse strategy, or at least a more conservative strategy, as we've seen pretty much everyone will be starting on the softs, at least inside the top 10. It's coming around. Final 2 bends here. To the line as Alp goes P1. And yeah, Lopez does not improve. Sorry about that. I did not see that Alp was on a hot lap. But yeah, good stuff from Alp. 104 flat. That's quite competitive, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, unfortunately for Alp though, that will be his last lap unless he goes for another on the same set of tyres. And unfortunately for him, you've got Element 10 who is on, oh no, he's just finished the lap. Mitch is on a lap, and the likes of Arbar, Fenrique and Nicholas behind Alp are just about to start a new lap. So Nicholas was able to get into the pits, get on a new set of tyres, go back out and challenge for the pole position.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Cox will be the first one to cross the line here. So if he can improve it all from P9, does not look like he will, unfortunately for him. Raidcon is, yeah, he is back at his final lap, so he's going to be starting way back there, unfortunately for him tonight.
Oh, and it looks like Nicholas has invalidated his final lap. Must have been at turn 1. So unfortunate for him. He's probably going to go round a second time to try and get a lap in, but he's going to have to get out of the way of the speeding Fenrique, hunting down that pole position. Oh, Swan has retired. And there's an incident. It looks like at turn 3, the large hairpin. Swan has gone off. I'm not too sure what's happened.
I thought Swanner was, it looked like he was in sector 3, but I'm not going to see anything. I want to stay on board with Juventus here, see if he can improve from P12. I believe he is the last one out. Aside from Arbar, he cannot. And here's Arbar. He is going to bail out on that final lap. That is it. That is the show for today. Alp will take pole. Or, well, I mean, I guess not for the whole day. Stick around for a little bit. We're going to have like an actual race after the qualifying session. so stay there. But that is it for the Saturday going into the Sunday. Alp is
there is one more driver on a lap.
Oh, is it really?
Big Sandwich promotes himself up to 7th, as well as Juventus is the final driver on a lap. So we'll stick with Juventus now, as he's going through the most technical part of the track in the second sector.
Yeah, some of these guys are stretching them 2 laps. That is, I almost don't even think it's worth the risk with the amount of tire wear you're going to incur on softs at the start. But maybe it'll work for Juventus.
Yeah, Juventus unfortunately not being able to. Oh no, he has improved his time. Very interestingly, he was 2/10 down on his lap time going through sector 2, so must have gained quite a bit of time through sector 3. But yeah. So that is qualifying as Raidcon pulls into the pit. So as things stand, we have Alp on the pole position with a 104.0. I know he can go faster than that, and it's interesting because I think that might mean he's got a hybrid sort of setup on, or a wet setup for the rain at the end of the race that is predicted. Nicholas alongside him in P2, Fenrique P3, Arbar in P4 looking to back up his win from last week in Baku. Element 10 in P5, I'm sure we'll be proud of that. P6 is Mitch. Then it's been Sandwich in P7 alongside Flip-Flop Fish, who is running no ABS tonight, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that position. Blank in the last row of the top 10 positions in P9. Alongside him is Jonathan Cox. Every single driver in the top 10, of course, on the soft tyre. Swarner in the P11 position, and I think he's got a great position to maybe challenge for a podium in this race if he starts on the mediums. Wingett alongside him, Juventus in 13th, DK 14th, 15th is Raidcon, Bersey J in 16th, Perry in 17th, and 18th is Lopez, with You See Me Flying bringing up the rear, unfortunately due to his qualifying line. So the drivers who took a risk for the medium tyre at the start of the race, it's not paying off for him, unfortunately.
Not
so,
really, but I really want to see where that split is. Last week we were surprised at how few of the 11 through 19 runners did not go with an alternate strategy. I think there were only 2 or 3, and that did end up paying dividends. But here, with the weather being a question towards the end of the race, I'm not sure where these guys' heads are going to be at.
Yeah, it's going to be very unpredictable to call. And speaking of calling the race, get your predictions in the chat for the top 3 drivers to, get in the top 3. What are your predictions for the top 3?
I'm gonna check and see where the strategy is on the pace lap here. Just to make sure, just to confirm my predictions. I have an idea of where I'm going to go with this, but I kind of want to see if any outsiders really take that risk. But it should be a fun one lining up as we are heading out. As you've already ran through the lineup, let's check the old tire strategy. And once again, Swarner on hards.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. Juventus on mediums, Perry and Lopez both on mediums as well. But everyone else, they're going to go on the softs. It's going to be an absolute blitz at the start. Obviously, multiple overtaking zones. Only 9 corners around the Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg, but pretty much all of them you can pass at. But that is a very interesting call from Swarner going on hards from P11. It's almost like he is playing the rain game, for sure.
Yeah, it is very interesting indeed. Obviously not feeling that he'll be able to make the rain on the medium tyres, as well as a few other drivers outside of the top 10. I'm sure the medium runners will be thinking that we'll be able to stretch those tyres to the early portions of the rain, as it will come down very heavily and very quickly indeed. So I think timing of pitting during that wet, that transition from dry to wet weather will be crucial to who gets the win here. But Juventus, you have to say, is in prime position here to maybe snatch a podium on the medium tyre, depending on how well he does on those mediums. If he can gain a few positions. But I think my prediction will be that I think Fenrique might win this race. I think Juventus will get a surprise P2. And who else should I go with? I'm going to go with Nicholas in P3.
I'm going to go chalk. I'm going to say Alp, Arbar, Fenrique, because Arbar is in pretty good form right now. So I think he's definitely challenging for a podium. Nicholas, not quite sure where his head's at after a couple of mistakes in the first 2 races. But nonetheless, we're about to get started. We got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. Let's see who can get a jump off the line. Looks like Nicholas actually does get a jump, but they're going 3 wide right behind him. And unfortunately, Arbar has to cut that corner immediately. Alp does follow the lead. Has Element 10, a bit of a wild card, trying to sneak into 4th.
A very clean first corner. There's a few light touches there in the turn 3 hairpin.
And we do have a caution.
Oh, and there's a car round, and it is Juventus. No! Oh dear, I'm so sorry, Juventus. I gave him a P2 prediction, and he's unfortunately gone round. But other than Juventus, it seems to be very clean from the start. Mitch dropping a few positions, Bean Sandwich battling away with him. So, big winners on the track are Jonathan Cox up 3 positions into 7th place, Wingate up 9 positions into... Oh, and DK running very wide there. Mitch has gone into the pits with wing damage, I can only presume. That's why he's
tough start from Williams. Tough first lap from Williams. They're both going to be down at the bottom of the order, and I think Swanner must have had something to do with that, as he has dropped like a rock down 6 spots, down 5 spots now, as he did not pit. But he's on those hard tires. I think he's just going to play this tire strategy game back there. Mitch was complaining to me earlier. I think he had some issues with the upshift on his Fanatec. So I'm not entirely sure if that came into play there, if he got it all figured out. But Jonathan Cox has pipped Bean Sandwich, the championship leader, through 2 races into P8.
And something to keep an eye on. Nicholas has to be careful here. He needs to get in DRS range of Alp, or Alp's just going to run away with it at the early parts of this race, and Nicholas has unfortunately not been able to do that, so Alp looks to be in prime position at the moment to win the race. Of course, if you forget about the fact that rain is coming later on in this race, very quick lap from Alp there. But now it was crucial that Nicholas stayed in DRS. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's been unable to do so. Now the DRS train begins from P2 to P8 as Wingate has been split from the pack ahead of him, and he leads the train down to P13 now. 14. Oh, no, I think Lopez just fell out barely. But yeah, great start. Great start from Alp, which I believe is something that we are supposed to come to know and love, if I've heard the rumors correctly here. But yeah, we got 2 mega DRS trains forming it. Pretty much anybody from 2nd to 8th can challenge for that 2nd spot, probably before the end of this first stint ourselves. Well, what I have noticed is that Alp has used a lot of ERS to get out of the DRS range of Nicholas, hoping that Fenrique would battle him, and it's not proven to pay off. Nicholas clawing that gap back close to DRS range, and all because of Alp's usage of ERS. Nicholas, of course, is trying to use as much ERS as well to keep up with Alp, and
I think Fenrique is really doing a good job at harvesting that ERS right now, in a much better position compared to Nicholas and Alp back here. I think he's just going to bide his time, try to run away from Element in P4, and perhaps just stay in touch. Here is
DK and Raidcon are side by side going down the last DRS straight into turn 5. Raidcon having the line and the inside of the 2 drivers there, so he's taking the position away from DK, and Raidcon having a good start to this race himself.
Yeah, now Blank's putting pressure on Wingate for the 2nd to last points paying position. I think Wingate is going to be a little bit nervous. I saw him run wide in that double left-hander. But now Raidcon is right on the gearbox of Blank as we approach the main straightaway for lap 5. And Burzy does get a penalty. 3-second time penalty. I believe that was the first one of the entire grid. And it looks like Blank actually is feeling that pressure. He definitely just cut turn 1. God, look at these guys. And
Bean Sandwich and Jonathan Cox side by side into the turn 3 hairpin.
Oh,
and
Bean Sandwich
sweeps around the outside of Jonathan Cox. A great move from himself.
Yeah, definitely got the traction down. He's gonna want to make some ground on flip-flop fish there. He's 2 seconds back right now. Got some ERS, but he has a championship lead to defend. So he's definitely going to make up some ground here. Blank has left. I think he lagged.
Disconnected there, which is unfortunate. He's looking to be battling well, and the driver's in the train now. Will just pass through his ghost car. But this 2nd DRS train is proving to be the more exciting of the 2. Lots of battles going on within it. Wingate is, I mean, Wingate's, I can only praise his ERS management at the moment. The only driver I've seen so far to have a good amount of ERS in that second DRS train that we have going on. Flip-Flop Fish as well, having 90% ERS, so he'll be just stalking drivers ahead of him, waiting for a move to become possible.
I'm gonna jump back to that second train here. Lopez on the mediums, up 5 spots. Obviously, not all of his own doing, but he is staying in touch with these guys. Starting 18th, looks like he has a chance to go ahead and maybe get some points out of this on the mediums. Only the highest medium runner at the moment.
Yeah, Lopez, of course, is a very consistent driver, and we know he has pace as Flip-Flop Fish comes into the pit. But yeah, back to Lopez. We know he has pace, finishing P5 in both races at the start of the season. So,
and they both come from pretty far back.
How he does. Flip-Flop Fish pitting for mediums. So must have been struggling on the soft tyres. The softs around this track when they start going off, do go off very quickly and go off. I mean, I'd be lucky if I keep within a second of my best lap time during the end of their life. As Lopez getting a move done on Bearsy J into turn 3. Will Bearsy J look to maybe gain the position back? Just too far back from Bearsy J there. So.
I believe it was Wingate coming off of turn 1. I think he ran a little bit wide as Blank rejoins. Hopefully he can get back in and salvage something. But I think Wingate went a little bit wide, and it kind of bunched everyone up in this group even more than they already were. But you know, as I look at it, every second sector, Fenrique really does a good job of closing on Nicholas, and then he kind of lays off the ERS down the fast stretches of the circuit, probably in an attempt to run him off. As it looks like Jonathan Cox is in the pits. A lot of these guys they might be opting for a 2-stop, just hopefully, you know, thinking there won't be rain. But it's pretty unpredictable as we stand right now. Raidcon making a move on Wingate. Lopez making a move on DK.
We're side by side still with Wingate and Raidcon. Raidcon, of course, getting the DRS as he was behind Wingate going into turn 3. And Raidcon sweeps around the outside of Wingate. Raidcon having a great start to this race, showing real promise in the early stages, up to 7th place.
Yeah, up 8 spots already on those softs. Wonder when some of these guys, they have to be feeling the degradation already. Just because they've been running each other so hard early on here. Really hard to break loose from each other. Now it looks like Lopez might be trying to line something up on Wingate for P8. Lopez might be a sneaky guy that can get up into the points here pretty easily. And we have
Fenrique's had an incident coming out of turn 1, muscle off the back end and dropped 3 places down to P6. So unfortunate for Fenrique. It's maybe allowed Nicholas to try and get away from element 10, break the DRS, and that's just what you need if you're Nicholas there.
Yeah.
Was very under pressure from Fenrique, and unfortunately the Fenrique mistake has allowed him to gain back some composure and maybe gain a bit of ERS again, as he's running low, only on 10% there or thereabouts.
Definitely gives both Element and R-Bar a chance here at a preliminary podium. Go ahead on Lopez.
Well, Lopez just making his way through the field. I think those medium tyres are the better tyre to be on at this point in the race. As Raidcon and Wingate side by side again, going into the left-hander into turn.
Ooh, and Alp gets a 3-second time penalty. I believe Lopez got it right before we started talking about him, so that was a preliminary commentator's curve. R-Bar with a 3-second penalty. These are going to come hot and heavy. Got to keep tabs on the penalties here, because boy, there's going to be a lot of them by the time we finish here today. Fenrique.
Oh, go ahead. R-Bar are battling away for that P2 now.
Ooh!
Arbar looking for it round the outside with the DRS and getting the move completed before the braking zone. But Element 10 trying to fight back, unfortunately not able to do so.
Arbar's
So
got the
Element
traction
10 now behind Arbar.
Yeah.
The two McLarens are hopefully working together to gain back within DRS range of the two drivers ahead. Alp in a world of his own here, and Alp is pitting. So drivers are pitting, Arbar is in as well. Element 10
Sandwich
stays
is
out,
coming in. Fenrique is going to stay out one extra lap.
And with DK span in sector 2, in the tricky part of the track, and now he's off the track again, and it's because of
his tires are gone.
Yeah, I think he might have maybe had a touch from Jonathan Cox as he was slow moving. But DK getting 10 seconds there for exceeding track limits. I don't agree with that one bit. So
yeah, that's unfortunate for DK. He's gonna have to pit now. Looks like Element 10 and Fenrique are in Wing It. Didn't notice Wing It didn't go in, but these guys are all the last of the runners, at least on the softs. Should clarify. Let's see if Element goes in this lap. I would say 11 is probably about as far as you can stretch with a full tank of fuel.
What I have found interesting here is the drivers that haven't pit, whether they will be stretching these soft tyres to maybe go on another set of softs before the obvious wet stage of the race. But Element 10, Fenrique and Wingit come into pit. But Arbar's put on a fresh set of softs, so he clearly thinks he'll be able to make the rain on this set of soft tyres. But everyone else opting for mediums, apart from Element 10 now.
Element is going to go, he is going to put softs on again. Interesting.
Wingit also put softs on, so drivers in two minds on whether they can get to the end of the race, or get to the start of the rain, on those set of tyres. But I mean, if Lopez can make the start of the rain and do this all on the medium tyres before the rain, pit for the inters and get to the end, he's prime position now in P1 position. Unfortunately out behind him, catching every second of the lap, so yeah, Lopez in a good position, but Alp is hunting him down.
Yeah, interesting. I think Alp is going to close pretty quickly once these mediums get up to temp. But you know, gotta say, Lopez definitely had this figured out. He is really just carved through the field. But Alp is gaining in a hurry as he just set the fastest lap of the race on those fresh mediums.
Yeah, Lopez starting way back on the grid, maybe P17 I think now in P1, yeah. If he can get those tyres to the wet stage of the race. Tyres around this track, mediums will last to about lap 26 if you push them, so Lopez still has plenty of life left in those tyres yeah,
and Element's now under, well, he just got flip-flop, and now flip-flop is under pressure from both of the McLarens who have opted for mediums. Looks like Bean got the jump on Fenrique, the undercut by one lap. But flip-flop Fish, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold these guys off for much longer, as Alp is getting dangerously close to DRS zone.
Yeah, Flip-Flop Fish, of course, was the first to pit on the track, barring any incidents like front wing changes or such. So he is on a 7-lap old set of medium tyre, and he seems to be struggling in and around the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, I think he's dead meat.
Looking to mount a move now up the inside of turn 3, being sandwiched late on the brakes, and it's a great move. And that this might allow Fenrique, his teammate, to maybe mount a move. Enrique looks up the inside and unfortunately just absolutely launches Flip-Flop Fish into the gravel, which has resulted in Fenrique getting wing damage himself. That was an interesting move there from Fenrique. And
as soon as Fenrique made that move, I was on spectator on him, and it went to the side pod looking backwards. So I didn't catch exactly what happened on stream, but yeah, it sounds like Fenrique may have just gotten a little too big for his britches there. As Alp is lining up a move on Lopez for the lead of the race. Alp is already the presumptive leader, having pitted once, but looks like he's going to be able to make quick work of Lopez, who's on 14-lap old mediums, probably into turn 4 here.
No, Alp not close enough, and he's going to have to stay behind Lopez for the rest of the lap until the pit straight and next DRS zone. Interestingly, this is allowing Nicholas to gain on these two drivers. Yeah. R-Bar as well, mounting an attack on those fresh set of softs alongside Element 10, who's 2 seconds behind him. And we've hit a point in the race now where all the drivers are split up slightly. The only real battle at the moment is Alp on the pitless car of Lopez, so we'll stick with these as Alp may be looking for a move into turn 1. It is
he's not going to
advised to overtake there.
He is, yeah, he's definitely going to want to get. He wants to make quick work because I'm sure he can now see Nicholas in his rear views. But that's textbook from Alp. Going into
great move from Alp there. I mean, it was always going to happen on the 10-lap fresher tyre, so it was just a matter of time really. And now hopefully Lopez will be wanting to stay within DRS range of Alp and maybe build up some ERS and just defend with the DRS he gains.
Yeah.
Get back up to the speed of the race.
Yeah, Alp has jumped out. He's already close to 7/10. He's over 7/10 now through the first 2 sectors. Pretty much through 1 sector. I'm not sure if Lopez is going to be able to hold on through DRS zone. Yeah, it's already a second, and Nicholas is going to be hot on his heels, hopefully disposing of Lopez quicker than Alp did. Took out a couple laps.
And of course, one thing to take into account is the fact that it is looking a lot darker, the track now. Track temperatures will be coming down as the clouds come over. We are predicted rain at the end of this race, so drivers getting ready for the rain to start coming down. I can only presume maybe any moment between now and lap 25.
As we're going on board, you can definitely see the mist forming in the mountains.
Oh, and there's been a crash in the pit lane, and it's blank.
Oh boy.
Blank, unfortunately. Very easy to do to lose the back end there, and yeah, it must have just span into the pits, what I can only assume.
Yeah, tricky pit lane here is Nicholas is going to have DRS on Lopez down the main straight.
I think the rain started coming down.
Has it?
I think I've just seen rain start coming down, and that means Lopez is in a great position there.
He is. He really is. Let's see who. Yeah, I can see it spitting down now in Sector 3. Yeah, it's definitely gonna pick up here. I think it's supposed to be heavy rain.
Yeah, heavy rain for the end of the race, so the rain will start coming down very quickly, you can only assume. So Fenrique's pit from intermediates very early. Interesting choice from Fenrique.
He had to replace his front wing as well. I believe he lost part of his front wing somewhere along the way. But he's the first one on these inners. Let's watch him as he tries to navigate these first couple corners. Definitely early.
I think he's going to struggle for for a few laps yet on those intermediate set of tyres. I don't think it was the right choice to pit, even though he did have wing damage, but I think he's just going to lose more time. The drivers ahead of him. In the meantime, Nicholas all over the back of Lopez now. Lopez wanting the rain to come down quicker and quicker, as his tyres are a lot older than the drivers around him.
As Fenrique is dropping like a rock down there in 14th. Good news for him is he doesn't have a whole lot of time to go. Oh, and they make contact. Lopez and Nicholas getting the elbows out a bit. Was Nicholas there, but he's going to make quick work of Lopez in the same spot that Alp did. Really can't defend much right now, but he is in quite the position. Here 18 laps in on those medium tires, the last one to pit. Outside of Swarner. Swarner also has not pit, but he's on the hards in P8.
Yep, Swarner's gamble for the hard tyre at the start of the race is proving to maybe pay off so far. He is up into P8 and he's all over the back of Jonathan Cox now, so it's whether he can keep up to pace with drivers around him until the intermediates are the better tyre to go on. Depending on how quickly the rain comes down, it'll be interesting to see if drivers actually go in for intermediates or maybe brave out the intermediate section of the race and on the dry tyre just to go straight for the wets, the full wets, because we know it's heavy rain at the end of the race. But
yeah, it looks like the first 13 have decided to go out for another lap, and I think that probably is the best call. I think that you would probably still lose some, at least in the first half of the lap, if you throw in inners now. But I think next lap you're probably going to see a flurry of activity down on the pit lane.
Of course, the key sign for when to pit for the intermediate tyre is when DRS is disabled. That is usually the time you want to be pitting for the intermediates, but with how brutal this track is, the rain can come down very quickly, and
it is.
We can see drivers caught out and opting to stay out for another lap. So is Nicholas. Lopez is in. Lopez has come in. So Lopez, the first one to blink in the top 10 of drivers, barring Fenrique, who did have wing damage. So Lopez pitting now for intermediates.
Oh, Jonathan Cox. Jonathan Cox is in as well. I was on board with Swarner. He definitely swooped in last second, and he got a 5-second speeding penalty. Not a great exchange for him. Swarner's going to stay out one more lap on those hards. Going through the field here, I wonder how much time Lopez is going to gain just in this lap alone. Because I think this definitely looks like an extremely greasy track right now. I feel like this is probably the time to pit.
Yeah, drivers are pitting and being sandwiched in element 10 on the dry sets, dry compound tyre, battling away. No fear from them two. It's good to see. And element 10 defends his position well. You see me flying that. We've got a lot of
Alp is staying out one more lap.
Pits.
Alp is going to stay out one more lap, as will Nicholas. I'm surprised that nobody's trying to catch him out, try something different here.
Judging off Lopez's times at the moment, the Inters don't seem to be the tyre to be on, so the intermediate runners are struggling. So Alp, hopefully for his sake, has made the correct decision there.
We are going to see Swarner and Flip Flop Fish both in the pits here. And Lopez will overtake them. For now, Lopez will be the first on the inners. Not sure, like you said, the times weren't really working for him, but at the same time, these inners definitely be the tire to be on in a very short period of time. It's really coming down now, at least in sector one.
The first sign of struggle for the people on the dry tyres as Bain Sandwich outbrakes himself into the turn 3 hairpin, so definitely going to have to start braking earlier if you are on the drier compound of tyre, and they will start struggling. And does Alp pit? Alp does come in indeed. Will Nicholas come in? Yes, but in an illegal manner. Arbar stays out.
One
Arbar
more.
Stays out.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that podium prediction right there. That is... Oh, Nicholas, 5 seconds.
Well, Arbar definitely taking a risk, and this could be make or break for him. Staying out an extra lap, maybe doing an overcut on the drivers that have come in for the intermediates earlier. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. But every single driver now is on the intermediate tyres, apart from Arbar in first place, Juventus in 14th, Perry in 15th, and Fenrique, who did come back in to put a new set of softs on instead of riding out the intermediate tyres, and I think that was the wrong position. But
yeah.
DRS is disabled, which usually means that the intermediates are the better tyre to be on, and Arbar will be tiptoeing his way around the track now as Alp is gaining.
Yeah, this is
quickly, has to be said. So.
Arbar definitely did not make the right decision there. He is tiptoeing around, losing seconds per sector. This is almost going to take him certainly out of podium contention. You would have to imagine at this point.
Jonathan Cox and Flip Flop Fish side by side going into turn 5, I think it is, and Flip Flop Fish with the inside line gets the position done. So Flip Flop Fish looking good on the intermediate tyre. But Arbar has pit, of course, and it'll see how badly this has impacted his race. He wasn't too far off the back of Nicholas and Lopez. So let's see where he comes out, and he is indeed.
No,
he's going to slot in between Element 10 and Bean Sandwich. Side by side actually with Bean Sandwich as Arbar coming out of the pit, so these two will be going into turn 3 side by side, banging wheels into the braking zone, both braking at very similar points. Arbar up the inside, still side by side, going down the last of the DRS straights. Of course DRS is disabled, banging tyres as we go. Still side by side, Arbar with the inside line turning in early. Bean Sandwich keeps it round the outside though, and which turns into the inside line. Still side by side, I think. No, Bean Sandwich gets the job done, and it's great driving from himself there, looking to get the consecutive podium of the season. Unfortunately, I've noticed that Fenrique's pit for another set of softs, so that is a crucial mistake from him that has just ruined his race completely.
His race is just falling apart here.
Something to take note of is the fact that no DNF so far this race, and with the rain coming down, that is good to see, because a safety car is more likely to be coming out if there is an incident with the wet conditions. But this race is not over yet. Drivers will probably have to look to either pit for full wets by the end of the race, as the rain will relentlessly come down. So it'll be interesting to see how these drivers combat that sort of challenge they're faced with.
Yeah, I think an interesting thing is Element is gaining time on Lopez for that final podium position. Lopez obviously with an incredible drive from the back to the front, now in 3rd place, but Element has been gaining slowly but surely ever since he's put on the airs. So really looks like a race between Nicholas and Alp, with Alp comfortably ahead. I would say comfortably, about 2.5 seconds there, and then from Lopez to Element is another 2.5 seconds. And then Bean Sandwich, I believe, is gaining on Element 10 as well. So not a whole lot of battles at the moment, but definitely some interesting things, especially if these guys have to pit again in the next 10 laps.
Yeah, Bean Sandwich is looking great in the way. It has to be said, already pulled out a lead over Arbar of 1.4 seconds and gaining on Element 10 through every corner he goes through. So he'll be on the back of Element 10 in no time at all, I'm sure of it. Seems to be very comfortable in the wet conditions so far, just Bean Sandwich, and possibly the best driver on the track, as Juventus and Perry are battling away for 14th position. Good to see from those two there, even though there's no points involved. It's the pride of finishing higher than your opponents. So seeming to get the job done into turn 5, and Juventus defends the position 29 seconds behind P13 of Wingit. But it's their own little race. I'm sure they'll be enjoying it. As Fenrique gets past Blank, trying not to finish last on the grid. They are, of course, 18 seconds behind 17th. So, again, their own little race, and it'll be interesting to see if Fenrique can maybe even gain that time on DK, because we know he is a very quick driver indeed. But unfortunately, again, it's just some reckless decisions. Speaking of which, that have cost him today.
Yeah, you definitely feel bad for Fenrique, because last week we saw he had a great start, he made a mistake, and then after that, pretty much just mistake after everything just kind of snowballed. Which is actually the opposite of what happened in his home track in Brazil. Whenever he started on the front row, stalled, but then had a great comeback drive throughout the field, only to get involved in an accident with Nicholas through turn 3 that ended his day prematurely. He easily could have contended for a win there, but definitely not the start to the season that he was looking for. Last year's runner-up.
Mitch and Jonathan Cox are battling away for P9 and 10, and Mitch up the inside of Jonathan into turn 5. Will Mitch be able to get the move done, or will Jonathan hold it around the outside? Still side by side, Jonathan's done well. Unfortunately, not enough to get past Mitch, and Mitch up into P9. Maybe looking to gain on Flip-Flop Fish, who is ahead of him. But Bean Sandwich now is within a second of Element 10 for the first time so far during this wet conditions. Element 10 having a poor exit, it has to be said, from out from turn 1. So maybe Bean Sandwich can mount a move, but no, way too far back from Bean Sandwich. Unfortunately, with this wet weather, it is a lot more difficult to overtake around the track. So we'll see how people get on with that.
Yeah, no DRS here, and obviously that's such a strong factor with these 3 long straightaways. But I kind of expect Bean Sandwich to get Element here in the next couple laps. What is interesting is that it seems like Lopez is actually gaining on Nicholas now, and he's dropping these two. So perhaps Lopez, he went from about 5.5 down, and now he's flirting at about 4 seconds behind Nicholas in P2. Interesting to see if he can make headway, or if Bean Sandwich can catch everyone and grab his 3rd consecutive podium.
Yeah, Nicholas looks to be struggling in these conditions. He is falling off the back of it now, and as you said, Lopez gaining on him through and through. It'll be interesting to actually take a look at what the penalty situation is like for the drivers at the top. So Alp is on 1 penalty, 3 seconds for him. Nicholas has a 5-second time penalty for what I can only assume is speeding in the pit lane. So
yeah.
That's unfortunate for him. Lopez is on a 3-second time penalty as well, so if he can get within 2 seconds of Nicholas, that'll be a position going for him. Element 10 has 2 penalties there, unfortunately for him. Bean Sandwich, no penalties so far for Bean Sandwich, so Bean Sandwich looking good. And unfortunately, we have just seen Flip-Flop Fish is disconnected from the lobby, which is unfortunate for him, but has maybe allowed Mitch to get another couple points in the bag for himself. Yeah, Lopez definitely catching up to the back of Nicholas. Nicholas seems to be using a lot of ERS, trying to gain back up to Alp, but it's just not proving to be working for Nicholas, and is actually probably
counterproductive.
Yeah, counterproductive for him. Bean Sandwich, however, up into P4, past Element 10. And a battle for P16 as well.
Bean Sandwich is on a mission right now. As we can go back and see. Ooh, it looks like DK did get You See Me Flying. But I think that DK's, it looks like he's ghosted. I think he might have.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. He did go for a move on You See Me Flying though.
Yeah, so, he made the move, and then it looks like he just left. As Bean Sandwich, back to him. He is the man on the mission right now. He has lapped him. And Lopez still cutting ever so slightly into Nicholas in P2. But I think the real storyline here is going to be if Bean Sandwich can close on Lopez without any penalties. If he gets that within 3 seconds, barring anything happening to him or any penalties for him in the final 5 laps, he would be on the podium once again.
Yeah, that will be a great result for Bean Sandwich. 3 consecutive podiums. Well, to only finish on the podium in contest of speed so far, as he did join at the start of the season, and he's had a third, a second, and hopefully maybe can get back into the podium for his sake, to keep challenging Alp for the Drivers' Championship. Bean Sandwich, of course, if he doesn't pick up another corner cutting warning and gain that 3 seconds of penalties, will only have to be within 3 seconds of Lopez, but seems to be struggling to actually get within the 3 seconds. So Lopez proving quite quick in the wet conditions.
Yeah, that's true. The daring Dominican Lopez is he is definitely holding his own here, but it looks like the gap has stalled between pretty much all these guys. Nicholas is starting to pick back up. They've been, his element gets another 3-second time penalty, but it's like Nicholas is starting to open it up on Lopez right now, and if I am tabulating correctly, I think Alp would gain the championship lead where he stands now over Bean Sandwich.
He would indeed, and yeah, it's just sort of stagnated at the front there. All drivers within about 4 seconds of each other, and DK has retired in the pits. Unfortunate for him, he's just not had the luck today. Spinning, of course, at turn 7, I think it is. Yeah, unfortunate for him. Alp seems to have about a 10th on Nicholas every lap, so he sort of just needs to keep it smooth till the end of the race. Lopez is catching Nicholas, but not enough to gain a position from Nicholas. Nicholas, of course, having 5 seconds worth of penalties, so Lopez only needing to get within 2 seconds, but I can't see it happening at this point in time unless there is a mistake from Nicholas. But yeah, no battles on the track, and the rain does seem to be coming down heavier though, so it'll be interesting to see how.
Yeah, I think these guys are starting to struggle. I saw Alp just going through the double right-hander, definitely just getting a little squirrely. So I'm not sure. There's no way that you're going to take wets right now, right? Maybe if maybe if you're further down, if you're someone like Raidcon or even Burzy, maybe throw on wets and you'll get like a 20-second advantage the last couple of laps. But right now everything is pretty much stalemated. I think the best, that was actually Burzy and Raidcon. They're the only two within a second of each other, aside from Simi Flan and Fenrique, a few spots behind them. But this is all out of the pits, as someone has, I believe, lost it on the front straightaway. Or is that still just for DK? That's
the
Perry.
Retired car of Perry.
Perry has given up as well.
I think he retired in the pits and the car just came back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rain really coming down now, and as these intermediates start to not be able to cope with the water on the track, mistakes will start to happen, you can only assume, and whether small or big, and we might have just seen one. Jonathan Cox has gone deep into turn 3, so dropping a couple of positions there, which promotes Raidcon into P10, and now this battle for Raidcon and Burzy J is for the last point-paying position, so the stakes have been raised slightly for them to do.
Yeah. That is tough for Jonathan Cox. He's not scored a point yet, although he has shown flashes of pace as Nicholas's teammate in the, I always want to say Force India. I'm just going to call it Force India, the racing point. But little problems like that has put him from scoring a point so far. He was comfortably in 10th until losing in turn 3 there, unfortunately. And
Nicholas really struggling, and Lopez might be able to get within 2 seconds of Nicholas, promoting him up to P2, so Nicholas struggling in these wetter conditions, and this could be the downfall of his race. That speeding penalty he got for the pits. So unfortunate for him.
Lopez has half a second to gain in the final 2 laps.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be tight. Lopez though losing 3 tenths, 5 tenths going up there, so making a mistake, and that could cost him. As there's a sector 2 yellow, and it's a Mercedes off track, and it's You See Me Flying, and he's caused a mess. Juventus now without a front wing. What I can only assume, running into the back of You See Me Flying as he was joining track. I didn't quite see what happened there, so please excuse me if I'm wrong, but Juventus there coming into the pits to get that front wing changed, and that's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I don't think either of them were really in contention, but definitely not the way we want to end the race. There's 2 laps remaining. I'm going to go back and see if Bursey's going to make a move here, as that is really the closest battle on track.
I mean, a move from Bursey here would be a great move, considering how wet it actually is. The rain is coming down sideways now, and as you can see, Bursey is just ran wide, so drivers are struggling with braking points and locking tyres up, and rain is really coming down. As we've got 2 laps to go, the drivers will just be wanting the race to end at this point. I'm sure it's a real struggle to keep the car on the track. As Alp does start the last lap of the race, going through the first turn.
And I'm not sure this is the last points, or the battle for the last point, as Flip Flop Fish, since his disconnect, it looks like these guys are both going to be able to get around him. So Raidcon and Bursey should both be able to score some points. You can really see, and Fenrique just trying to cool the Alps, trying to cool the tires down along the main straight, staying in the wet part, taking his sweet time. And Lopez looks like he is going all out. This is his last chance. He has dropped it by a little bit. I'm not sure who's off. It looks like the Williams, perhaps.
And yeah, Juventus dropped it coming out of the first turn of sector 3, so he's back into the pits, and I think he's just going to retire, unfortunately for him. But Alp rounds the last corner and takes the win.
Yeah, the presumptive championship favorite, definitely showing his worth here with a dominating performance. Pretty much led every lap except for when Lopez was able to stay out on mediums. But he quickly gathered that up. Bean Sandwich is going to is just 0.6 off of Lopez for P4, but let's see if Bursey and Raidcon. Bursey has anything for Raidcon here for the last 2 points. But well done from Alp. That's the kind of championship drive we were expecting.
Yeah, great drive from Alp. Just kept it consistent really in the wet conditions. Didn't look phased by them at all. So well done from him there, as the last drivers do come through to cross the line. Raidcon crosses, and Flip Flop Fish jumps Bursey on penalties to get 10th position, even though he wasn't here.
That's tough for
Bursey. But that is the end of the Austrian Grand Prix. So can we get your driver of the day votes in the chat? And what is your driver of the day vote, as I will start to invite the podium?
I'm a little torn personally. I would say, I mean, I don't want to go for the obvious, but I feel like Alp pretty much had control of that race start to finish. We were talking about it in the opening couple laps, how he just immediately broke the DRS to Nicholas, and then after that first pit stop, first hot lap, sets the fastest lap of the race, which I'm pretty sure stood for the entirety of the race, and quickly dispatched of Lopez, who is probably the other one that I would consider, but at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go with Alp.
I've got to go with Lopez, starting, what, P17 maybe, I think it was, and coming up to P3, so great drive from himself there.
And Lopez unfortunately has to use that Swiss flag because for some reason Codemasters does not have the Dominican flag for him just yet. Yeah, good stuff from some of these guys. You look at the two that I was looking at prior to the race were Swarner and Lopez. Swarner obviously started on the hards, but he was able to make up some ground, and then Lopez, like you say, 18th to 3rd. Just a real back to front drive from him, which I feel like is pretty much his calling card when it comes to races like this.
Yeah, he's done it before. Brazil being a good example from the first race this season. He looked very strong there, so we'll get him invited to the chat as well. And as we wait for the drivers to join the party for the interviews, we'll take a look and see what people are saying. We've got Bean Sandwich with 2 driver of the day votes, which is probably a good shout, actually, starting quite low down on the grid and getting himself up into 4th place himself. And Alp has got a vote. Oh no, he hasn't. Changed to Lopez, sorry.
Come on.
But yeah, I think Lopez gets the majority vote there for driver of the day. And speaking of which, Lopez has joined the party, so we shall get underway with interviews. Just need to ask first, have you got your voices shared?
Yeah, it should be. I'm gonna listen to myself on the Twitch. Listen to this.
Lovely, that'll do. But Lopez, you gambled for the medium tyre in qualifying, didn't really seem to pay off. You weren't too high up on the grid at all, starting P18 I think it was. So what were your thoughts going into the race and starting so low down on the grid?
Well, my thought was keep it safe, keep it simple, keep it clean, no damage, minimize it, and use the most of the tires and the potential of the strategy because we were going to be wet later. And yeah, that was it at the beginning of the race. It was just minimize any type of damage. If not, just do everything you can, don't get stuck in any trains, and if you do, just make some aggressive moves and keep it.
Yeah, it was a good drive from you. We saw you making your way through the field, and I just want to know, when did you start to think that a podium might be on the cards for yourself?
Honestly, when I noticed that I was in a good spot, I was actually leading the race at one point. I was like, I see the gap behind me. I think at this pace, only Nick and Up will be able to overtake me. Try not to fall down too much, but Alp was just super fast on those fresh mediums. Nick as well ended up catching me a little bit later. I pitted a bit too early for my liking. I would have definitely been up there. I had the pace on the wet. I noticed that I was catching Nick all race long and making a couple of mistakes here and there, but overall my pace was better. And I knew it was there since the moment they pitted, but I just could have been a better podium. But got P3, got my first podium of the league, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, unfortunately Alp and Nicholas able to get past you, but I mean you've got to be proud of the 3rd place finish, of course, and like you said, your first podium in Contest of Speed, so congratulations for that. It was a great race, coming up from 18th to 3rd, and a deserved driver of the day performance there from yourself. Unfortunately Nicholas hasn't joined the party, so I can only assume he doesn't want to do interviews, so we'll move on to our race winner. And Alp, bit of a comeback drive from yourself there, off the back of what can only be described as possibly a disappointing Baku performance, so good to get a win.
Yeah, nice to be back on the top, and yeah, the championship is looking how it should be now, so I'm happy with it.
How it should be, you being top, is that
yeah.
Yeah, you've got to be concerned about the consistency of Bean Sandwich getting a 4th place finish today, and he's right on your toes, has to be said.
Yeah, I know him. He's a very consistent driver and usually keeps it clean, but yeah, I think I can beat him, so yeah. It'll be a fun fight.
Fighting talk we want to see, and
humble and
hopefully this this drivers' championship will go all the way to the end. As unfortunately last season you did absolutely annihilate everyone else. So hopefully a bit of competition, and it seems like he's getting it this season. So we'll.
Nicholas, like, he really put the pressure on the whole race. He was in my penalty window, like, up until the last 10 laps, and because the game mechanics, the engineer doesn't tell you whether the car behind has a speeding penalty. So I put unnecessary pressure on myself, thinking he would have beat me on penalties.
Yeah, but you ended up getting outside the penalty range and did very well to get the win. So congratulations on your win, Kitten. If you want to ask any questions or add anything.
I don't have any questions for the leaders. I just wanted to congratulate both. Lopez with a heck of a drive. Alp obviously very demanding, commanding race. First to first, pretty much led wire to wire, except for the couple laps in the pit exchange that Lopez got. But we are in Great Britain next week, aren't we, Cookie?
We are indeed, and it will be a great race. Always providing great racing does sort of Silverstone, and probably one of the better tracks to drive in terms of feel and of the car. So join us next week for Silverstone and the Sea of Bean Sandwich Lopez. Anyone in the top 6 really can challenge Alp after this race win, so should be interesting to see. But I think we're going to end off there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, until next week, follow us on Twitch and everything like that. We will see you then. And until then, stay safe. Don't get the runny.